And welcome to the VSA Capital Tech and Transitional Energy podcast on Thursday, October the 6th. Hi, Phil. How are you? We didn't do one last week, did we, actually? So we haven't spoken for about a fortnight. We must have some ideas coming out. We haven't spoken for a fortnight.
I know. It's because I'd got a kind of bad chest infection, but recovering from that, the sun is shining, and no, it's a good time for us to catch up. I did a podcast last week with David Scriven, our head of sales. So we went through quite a lot of company results actually last week. Got some more this week. But we were generally seeing, I have to say, in the technology sector, some pretty good results coming through for UK businesses.
You know what, actually, that gets me onto a point that I'll start ranting and raving on a little bit, is that actually results are still coming through pretty well. Now, you could say, well, they're going to suddenly get worse, but balance sheets are pretty strong. If you read the RNSs in the morning, every other RNS is a transaction in shares, which is companies buying stock back. I actually on Monday wrote to my clients and said, I think we are at the bottom of the market. Remember, markets always look forward and are anticipating events, 9 to 12 months out, probably. I think in hindsight, we will look back and we will go, October 2022 was basically the bottom of the market. There's a lot of, interesting things going on at the moment that I think could change things. One big one, of course, out in China, as we've got the Chinese Communist Party 20th conference. Once that's gone by, I think things with relationships with China will just relax a little bit. I think the COVID rules will relax slightly over there. Xi Jinping will feel much more comfortable that he's in power. I noticed that shipping rates, I don't know if you've been watching that, but they've collapsed almost the way, they were almost back to normal. And they were up tenfold. And of course, that will help bring supply chains better, will help bring inflation down. We're starting to see energy prices basically get back to sort of normal, not quite, but they're certainly settled down a lot. I think the higher interest rates, the market is basically factoring in. Russia's getting annihilated in Ukraine, so maybe that'll be over. I'm not sure it will be actually, but I just couldn't resist saying that because I love beating up the Russians. I'm certain not what they're doing. And look, basically stocks are looking cheap. You look around the market now, and there are some stocks that are just frankly so absurdly cheap that value players and things like that will just be, I've got to come in and buy it, or they'll just get taken over. I mean, one, and I'm the first to accept, look, it caught us slightly off guard, but I mean, we've talked, probably, I don't know if you did last week or the week before, we talked about pressure technologies and the fact that obviously they'd upset the market by missing certain things. But Peter Gillenhammer, who's a well-known value investor, suddenly comes and swoops 11% of it. And this sort of thing is going to happen more and more and more because I think, at the bottom of the market. So it's not often I say that something as strongly opinionated as that. And, I'll probably be shot. I've probably got it completely wrong. But I do think in hindsight, we'll look back and we'll look at the charts, and the start of October 2022 will be basically the bottom of the market.
Well, now that's a big call, but do you know what? It's very good to hear because we've just, there's all of the noise and bad news kind of swamps out good things underneath that are actually happening. So there we go.
Correct. And ignore party politics and everything. Obviously, politics is sort of important, but that's all a sideshow. It's a complete mess, by the way. But just ignore all of that. That should not be affecting the markets. Businesses get on and run themselves, and they're above all of that. In my view, anyway. There you go. And now, look, also we're a little bit late recording this, actually, partially because we had one of my favorite companies in our office this morning. Now, you're not in the office, Phil. You're not feeling very well. You obviously, I'm not going to say you were out late last night. Actually, you're looking better today on the video than you have been the last 2 days. You have not been well. So you were on video, but one of my favorite companies came today. It's Nano One. They're a TSX listed company based in Vancouver, run by Dan Blondal. And they have battery, the one pot, I love it, one pot technology for improving your cathode on a lithium-ion battery, and they can improve it on all sorts of lithium-ion batteries. And he's a fascinating guy, isn't he?
Oh yeah, look, really, really interesting, and yeah, very interesting science in terms of sort of nano coatings that they put onto cathodes and supermarket opportunity. And they certainly seem to be making excellent progress.
Well, they are, and I think one of the things that I think is fascinating. Obviously, we know this summer they bought the rump of Johnson Matthey's battery business in Quebec. And they've now, in fact, also announced that they got Rio Tinto to buy 5% of the company for $10 million US. A mining company. We're seeing more and more of this, that people are going across the whole value chain. Mining companies getting into technology companies getting into mining. We're going to see more and more of that. They have a joint venture with BASF. They're really lining up some very interesting partnerships and things. I would love them to be listed in London, because actually what is interesting is, and he told us today, that most of their shareholders are actually European. It would be a great stock to be listed in London. It's a very interesting company. If you don't know Dan, take my word, you can spend hours with him talking about the chemistry of batteries, etc. And he had some quite interesting comments, I think, on our views of whether you can add tungsten into the cathode to improve it. What he said was, if you can achieve it, it will, no question doubt, improve the battery significantly. The problem is, can you achieve it? Because it's quite a difficult metal to work with. But we know we've got to do more research there. But Nano One, really interesting company. Very interesting guy, wasn't he? Have you got any other comments on that, Phil?
Yeah, no, look, the share price ticker's NANO. It's Canadian listed, 274 million market cap. I mean, we're always keen at VSA on really, really good science, and clearly, because it's had the industry investment into it from Rio Tinto, and like partnering with BASF, you've got some serious businesses there looking at their science and their technology, and what a great market opportunity in the battery space. So yeah, very interesting.
I mean, the other talking of one pot process, is we had a little bit of a chat about China, didn't we? And how, because I know I first met Dan, I think, in Shanghai. And he's spent a lot of time there, obviously, with all the battery manufacturers, because that's where they all are. They don't have one pot; they have hot pot. But anyway, he was very much, Andrew, are you still going to China? And I said, no, actually, I'm not at the moment. Actually, what we're finding is more and more the West is rapidly catching up, and that people want to keep it all in the West. They want to build this new technology. They want to actually build these huge mega factories. Money is pouring in from governments, from companies. And this Cold War 2, whatever really is happening, and he agreed with that. He's seeing huge support coming out of North America for what he's trying to do. He did admit that he'd been down in Washington talking to the US government. There really is something so big going on at the moment. And I know it's difficult for investors. These things just don't happen overnight. You have to be incredibly patient. But there is a massive move to catch up on all of this whole transitional energy, whole value chain, from mine to battery to EV sort of thing. It's enormous, and there's going to be some enormous financial gains longer term. I know that short term, the stock market is horrendous. Some of the stock prices, I've been getting some messages of sort of, Andrew, some of your stock picks have not performed well, and I'm the first to admit they haven't. It's embarrassing. But I actually believe the fundamentals are right. It's just the stock market is in chaos at the moment.
Yeah, that's a very, very fair call, and especially companies that at an earlier stage in terms of the real hard commercial traction on technologies that take a long time to develop and R&D funding. And when you've got a very fragile stock market, there's a lack of kind of patience for that. But as you say, investors are definitely looking ahead and looking at opportunities and things that have got significantly undervalued in the current environment.
And again, what I would say is, from experience, when you have markets like this and it all looks doom and gloom and stock prices are collapsing, and you just think there's a buyer's strike and how much lower can this price go, watch out for a black swan event. Watch out for somebody just suddenly coming and going, you know what, I'm coming in, and suddenly you get caught out. So before you totally panic or cut your losses terribly, watch out for that black swan event.
There we go.
Right, any more macro you want to talk about, Phil, or is that enough macro?
No, I think, and we were covering this last week as well, No, but I'm with you. It's the end of the day. It's kind of let's look at what companies themselves are experiencing and what they're saying and what they're doing in terms of planning for the future. And the situation is very unusual compared with the last market downturn post Lehman. So I think things could change more quickly maybe than people do anticipate.
Yep. Okay. Do you want to head to results and that sort of thing?
Yeah. Look, absolutely. Let's get into the current environment, share pricing and valuations. GB Group, GBG.
Yes. And one my mother owns, and she wasn't very happy with me.
Dear, oh dear. Well, we'll get on to maybe why. So this is software for digital identity, address verification, fraud prevention. Their software is used by a multitude of organizations globally to assess people's identity. So if you're ordering on e-commerce websites, it's verifying you are who you are, or applying to government for driving licenses or whatever. It's all about verification. GBG was, I think, where are we? Yeah, announced 6th of September, considering there was a company called GTCR was considering a possible cash offer for GBG. And the company GBG said it was in early discussions. However, this week it has stated that it's received a statement. GTCR said they are no longer evaluating a possible offer for GBG. So there we go. So the share price had a kick right up, reached 644p, I think, and is now 493p.
It had done a Duke of York, hadn't it? Marched them up to the top of the hill, and now it's marched all the way back down again.
Yeah, has indeed. But as is often the way with these things, it has been approached. That all got out into the public, and maybe other parties will come along. We will see.
Yeah, well, let's hope for my mother's sake.
Yes. Right.
All right, next one, Phil. Come on, we're rattling on today because I'm a bit busy.
Yeah, all right then. I'll keep it short. Gresham Technologies, ticker is GHT, 106 million market cap. They had a trading update. They provide software into the financial services industry in terms of particularly payments and for cash management, for reconciliations. They just said they had a strong quarter. And they had won a strategic new name for their Claretti software, and they said that this is one of Europe's largest privately held banking financial services firms signing a contract. Just going on through that, I think they've said, that they are expecting revenue and earnings to be ahead of market expectations. So that is all very good news. We also had from Echo Technologies, ECK is the ticker, 127 million market cap. Their software is all about its customer engagement. And you know this if you are ordering stuff off the web or interfacing with government organizations, any big organizations. You're on the phone, there's things like chatbots, they have speech recognition technology, they have software that supports home working agencies, interfacing with you as a customer, all to do with customer interface, to automate it, to make it quicker, and to make it higher quality. And Echo has said that this was a half-year order update ahead of a capital markets day, and they were saying that order levels are expected to be over £70 million, more than 50% higher than the previous year. So in line with the group's expectations. So that was,
the market like that. It's taken it quite well. This is another one that's gone whizzing up and whizzing down over a sort of 3-year period. Another one my mother owns.
Well, excellent. Netcall. We are looking at a similar kind of field here. 103 million market cap. NETC is the ticker. They have software, and again, this is all about customer engagement solutions, making better quality of response, faster responses. And they have said that this was full year results. Their revenue was up by 12%. It's £30.5 million. Their adjusted EBITDA was up by 20%, so good drop through there to 6.4 million. And they close the period with cash up 20%, which we focus on very much at the moment, to 17.6 million. So good set of results there for Netcall, and they were saying that they're seeing their customers are just deploying more automation technologies to improve their level of customer response, and they offer a thing called low code platforms, which means you can add more functionality in as a customer without having to do lots of software yourself. And they've got things like robotic process automation. So yeah, good set of numbers. Obviously making great progress with their tech, and they have said that they good positive outlook. There you
go. Well, it's all pretty positive. So another stock that has reacted well today, because it's up 11%. AMT Power, which we talked about a little bit, announced a joint venture, didn't they? Did you see that one?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
You want to talk about that one?
Well, thank you very much, Andrew. I'll answer the detail, but this is from recollection that they have secured forward capacity with the UK Battery Centre for potential manufacture, if I'm right. Just having to look at the announcements. So
well, they've got it's a production contract for their ultra high power cells. So.
But this is all about securing capacity, isn't it? Rather than necessarily having the orders per se for the product at the moment. But they're obviously planning ahead in what they're doing. Yeah, it's just up to 60,000 cells.
The only problem is, as we know, this whole battery game just requires so much cash. We would like to go and visit AMTE. We say it regularly. If somebody picks up on this, please somehow try and organise it. We just want to learn more about it. But they do need a lot of money. Now, talking of which, it would be wrong if I didn't mention, probably just rather quietly, Invinity Energy Systems, the share price is collapsing. A lot of people are saying to me, Andrew, is this all going wrong? Look, all I can say is, look, it's not all going wrong. You just have to take my word for it. Take my word. We are the broker of the company. If there was a roadshow to do a fundraising or something, we'd know about it. And I'm contending here and now, I ain't planning anything like that. And I've got nothing in my calendar at the moment to plan anything like that. So no institutions being called. I know everybody's worried. They've actually still got quite a lot of cash. The Siemens Gamesa project, as far as I'm aware, is still going well. We do watch the California Energy Commission business agenda and website. It's public information. Somebody is about to be awarded a very large vanadium flow battery contract, as well as also a zinc hybrid contract. It's out there on the California Energy Commission page, so I'm not telling you anything that you shouldn't know. You can draw your own conclusions. So sometimes when it looks horrific, actually something happens and it all turns around. Who knows? I'm not going to say anything that I shouldn't say, because obviously we are close to the company. But I think the share price has become absolutely ludicrous. And I can say that I am not running around trying to raise the money at the moment, and I'm not expecting to short term from institutions.
There we are. I think you made that pretty clear, Andrew. Yep. Okay. Did you just going to say, on sort of tech sector, did you see RS Group this morning?
I did, yeah.
This is an interesting one. This was called Electro Components. Now, they supply thousands of different types of electronic components, used across the whole space. So consumer electronics, automotive electronics, aerospace, defense, you name it. So they're a huge distributor. Ticker is RS1R, 4.8 billion market cap. And they had a trading update for their first half, finishing end of September. I'll tell you what caught my eye about this is, like, they also, it's not just components, but they do single board computer solutions as well. Is that, like, we've seen in the consumer electronics market, computer, particularly the computer side of things, kind of laptops and stuff, and companies, chip companies that supply those areas, consumer electronics in particular, saying that things have been getting a lot tougher. And if you look at RS, I mean, I say across the piece, it's a good set of numbers, I think.
Yeah, there was a small sort of upgrade to expectations, wasn't there?
Yeah, but they, yeah, absolutely. But they were saying like their second quarter to September, their group sales were up by 15%. This is like for like revenue growth as well. The first half to September, the overall first half was up by 16%. So yeah, I thought that was pretty good. And as I say, come back to this thing of like, look at what companies are saying and what they're coming out with to get a feel for what might be coming ahead, because they're, someone like this RS will be seeing if their end customers are cutting their demand back, these guys will be catching it pretty soon, pretty quickly. That was interesting.
As I say, Phil, the world out there is maybe not quite as bad as people think it is.
There we are. Okay, but in the meantime, just on the subject of place, there have been a number of share placings going ahead as well. I just saw one from Bidstack Group, tickers BIDS, 26.5 million market cap, and they are launching. They do in-game advertising, video game monetization platform. Okay, yeah. So if you play video games, you'll probably know about this kind of tech. And they're looking to raise £10 million. I also saw that Sites in Sport, this is performance nutrition company, they're looking to raise £5 million. So there's a bit of activity going on there in terms of money raises.
Well, actually, the big money raise, which is just sort of coming out, and so I haven't got completely to the bottom of it, but it's out in the States, isn't it, where Form Energy is raised, I believe, $450 million US dollars.
Yeah.
From people including ArcelorMittal, and they obviously make a long duration energy storage. But the headline I was reading, a 100-hour iron-air rust battery. I mean, it's 100. Well, look, first of all, if you're putting in 100 hours, it's a completely different sort of long duration energy storage from some others. But rust, you got to. I don't know. I'm not convinced by this technology, to be honest with you. And look, these are going to be massive plants. What do you think?
Well, look, I just thought the amount that they're raising out in the US, it's staggering, isn't it? It shows the money that's available for the sector and the potential for the market. Yeah, but I couldn't possibly comment on their tech, not having looked at it. But it's a very, very big raise for the early stage tech. Yeah.
It's look, it's a massive raise. I think this is the one that Bill Gates is involved in, isn't it, with Breakthrough Energy Ventures? And you've got a lot of the big sort of, I think it's GIC and Temasek and these sort of people involved in this one. Look, the one thing we do know, and sorry to harp back on it again, we know that long duration energy storage is the key to the whole blooming transitional energy revolution. There's going to be different forms of different long duration energy storage for different requirements, and different methods solve different areas. But again, $450 million, that's a lot of money. That shows how much money battery companies really need.
Yeah, sure does.
All right, if there's nothing else, Phil, I've got a really busy day. We could just call it a day there, and hope that everybody enjoyed what we had to say.
Excellent. Right, well, look forward to catching up again next week, Andrew.
All right, I hope everybody enjoyed this podcast. Any comments, etc., please do get in touch. Disagree with what we've got to say, get in touch. If you agree with what we've got to say, get in touch. But I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.
Next week, Andrew.